Yu is an intelligent rookie who started working under his scary senior. However, everything changes when he finds out she's just a sweet, awkward weirdo who can't hide her love and desire to get freaky with him. It all starts on a regular day for Kanawa, who walks to the office, looking fabulous as usual in her confident stride. The second she steps into the office, her peers recognize her and glaze her achievements like your mother glazing your mailman's glizzy. But she quickly loses all of her aura when she fails to walk past the access gate. Then, inside the publishing office, everyone is working hard, trying their best to meet their goals. But while they're intense, they all greet each other good morning, while Kanawa does the same, but in a more monotone voice. While Kanawa is working on her desk, one of her co-workers, Rin, approaches her with bad news, saying that they failed to book Mia Khalifa for their event, and asks Kanawa what they should do. Coldly, Kanawa tells this fat oaf that it is her responsibility in the first place, but suggests that they quickly find a stand-in for their event, like Lana Rhodes, which Rin is thankful for. Then, Kanawa approaches another co-worker, Kosuke, to hand him some documents, which Kosuke is very much thankful for. But before leaving, Kanawa scolds him for having a garbage bin as a desk and tells him to clean up the mess. Just then, Kanawa is called by their director, Iji, for a talk, and while she's walking there, her co-workers gossip about how cold and scary she is as a person despite always being right. Iji reminds Kanawa that they will be having a newbie joining them, and he wants to put Kanawa as his mentor. He says that this newbie is excellent and even scored the highest grade in the exams, so he wants Kanawa, their department's ace, to train him. While Kanawa coldly accepts the responsibility, deep down, unbeknownst to everyone, Kanawa is actually an awkward, antisocial person, so she doesn't understand why her director put him in this position. Even after making herself the office's cold and antisocial loner, it bamboozles her why she is suddenly now someone's mentor. Suddenly, the newbie pops into the office. He apologizes for being late, explaining that he was cleaning his probation desk, and introduces himself as Yu. He apologizes for interrupting the director and Kanawa, but the director introduces Kanawa to Yu as his mentor and senior. He quickly bows and expresses how much he's looking forward to working under her, and while Kanawa responds coldly, deep down, she calls him a charming good man, so she makes it her mission to do her best to mentor him. Kanawa takes Yu on a tour around their office, starting with their products, explaining that they started with video games, but now create action figures and comics as well. She then shows him her desk, and his desk right next to hers. Then, the kitchen, the copy machine, the bathroom, and even the snacks they took from business trips, which she tells her is free for him to take. She believes she has covered everything that is to teach him, and he thanks her for the tour, saying that he will ask her more questions if he needs something. But then, Kanawa just starts working, while Yu is next to her, and he calls out for her to say that he doesn't know what he is supposed to be doing. In that moment, Kanawa realizes she forgot to teach him how to work, but quickly composes herself and tells him to follow her while she meets a client. She orders him to observe and shadow her, and she starts by teaching him how to hand business cards. But while she tries to look cool, all her cards fly out of her card holder, which embarrasses her. But Yu casually grabs all of her business cards from the floor and hands them back to her, which makes her blush redder than a tomato. They then greet the clients, who are the agents of Lana Rhodes, and Kanawa introduces Yu to them, which Yu follows by handing them their business cards. Then, while Kanawa presents their project to their client, she feels nervous after how she embarrassed herself with the cards and how Yu is staring daggers at her presentation. Kanawa appreciates Yu for paying attention closely and wants to do her best for him, but is unable to hold on to her nerve and gets flustered. Afterward, Kanawa feels the fatigue of being a mentor, and realizing that it's almost lunchtime, she thinks that as a mentor, she has to be the one who invites her trainee. She believes the restaurant she visited with her mentor is perfect for it, but she thinks hard about whether she should do it or not, and whether it's appropriate for her to invite Yu. She knows that she's not capable of making any small talk with him, so, while flustered, she orders Yu to get lunch by himself while she goes to another meeting. He accepts it, and Kanawa quickly leaves, not knowing why she ran away. Later, it's time to go home, and Yu bids farewell to Kanawa, which she responds to coldly. She knows that she should give some words of encouragement, but before doing so, Yu thanks her for today's guidance and apologizes if he was still making rookie mistakes due to being nervous. She responds, saying that no rookie could ever be perfect on their first day, and says that he can always count on her, which he accepts. But as he leaves, Kanawa can hear how the other co-workers are worried for Yu, and Yu saying that he was nervous. Then, on her way home, Kanawa realizes that she's no good and needs to be a reliable mentor, so she decides to start by being more honest with Yu. The next day, while Yu is having fun talking to other Rin and another co-worker, Kanawa appears, scaring Rin, and Kanawa tells them to get their filthy cheeks out of her way. But as she's sitting down at her desk, she believes that she greeted them warmly.
Oh, hell no!
Later, Kana assigns Yu to make a proposal for their clients, ordering him to follow her old proposals, but while giving him orders, she is making it her mission to invite him to lunch. Then, as lunch is getting closer, she gets more strict, scolding him for his lousy proposal, and orders him to finish it after lunch. There, she sees this as the perfect setup to invite him to lunch, but when she wants to invite him, the dude disappears from his desk and pops up seconds later with a cup of ramen in his hand as his lunch. She gets pissed, telling him to eat healthier food, but he tells her that he's on a budget, which softens Kanawa's attitude a little, as she feels sorry for him. At lunch, Kanawa eats by herself at a family restaurant, remembering how her mentor, Kanzaki, used to take her there for lunch and knew how to talk to her. Just then, Kanawa's friend, Ritsu, calls her, forcing Kanawa to fish her food. She then answers the call, and Ritsu informs her that they will work together more in the future, so he suggests that they give her rookie a chance to impress. He then laughs at Kanawa after hearing how she became someone's mentor despite having the personality of a wet sock. And Ritsu reminds her that just like how Kanzaku treated her, she needs to treat Yu nicely, or that he might change jobs because of her, which sours Kanawa's mood. He then suggests to Kanawa that she should buy self-development books on how to be a proper mentor. Kanawa rejects that idea, calling it stupid, but later, when it's time to go home, Kanawa goes home, but not before rushing to the library and bringing back loads of self-development books to help her become a better mentor. She realizes she forgot to buy herself dinner, so she makes herself a cup of ramen, while realizing how hypocritical she is for eating it after what she said to Yu, so she pairs it with some vegetable juice to make it healthier. Then, Kanawa grabs one book and starts reading, and the first lesson she reads is that communication is essential, so she should greet people warmly while smiling at them. She realizes she didn't smile previously, and dies from the cringe, so she tries to practice smiling in a mirror, and dies from even more cringe after seeing how chopped she looked. She then reads another lesson that says being strict as a mentor is outdated, and she should praise her juniors when they do good work or correct them when they make a mistake in order for them to grow. Reading that, she gets dizzy, not knowing how to do either of those things properly, and realizes how cooked she is for not training how to talk to people. Suddenly, she realizes her cup noodles are soggy, so she pulls out the chopsticks and starts eating. After a whole night of learning, she wakes up the next morning and realizes she's late for work. So she quickly gets ready, takes a shower, and makes herself look like $1 million. Then, she manages to get to work on time, and when she sees Yu, she is about to greet him with a smile like what the book said, when suddenly, some co-workers gossip loudly about how unlucky Yu is to have an ugly, scary witch hoe like Kanawa as his mentor. Kanawa freezes while feeling hurt and drops her notes, which reveals her notes to become a better mentor. When Yu picks them up for her, she takes them and looks at him in a sad way that Yu has never seen before, shocking him. Kanawa urges them to leave, but Yu walks past her and confronts the two hoes for what they said, and says that he is happy to work under Kanawa, who has shown him her rare kindness. The two gossipers realize that Kanawa is here, and they quickly walk away. Yu then apologizes for what he just did, and Kanawa tells him that she won't thank him, but shyly and silently, she thanks him for what he did, and they head to the office. Some days later, Kanawa delivers a presentation about a maid cafe where you can ask the maids to cream in your tea, which impresses the clients who can already see the profits rolling in, and Yu is off to the side watching his senpai in awe. Afterward, the clients praise Kanawa for her amazing work and say that they are eager to work with the company again before bidding farewell. Yu and Kanawa bow as they leave, but the second they leave, Kanawa coldly orders Yu to get involved in this maid cafe project and use her old proposals as a reference to make new ones. But as Kanawa walks back into her office, she tells herself that she will do her job as a senpai and invite you out to lunch with her. Later, to prepare making the proposal to their clients, Kanawa orders you to play their client's game to get a better feel of what to create. But you sucks more at the game than your mother's vacuum-like throat, leaving him with nothing. He points out how amazing it is that Kanawa always plays their clients' games beforehand, and he says it's a part of the job. But unknown to him, Kanawa is a massive gamer at home, so massive that she used to be a beta tester for video games. Seeing him struggle, Kanawa takes charge and plays the game herself. But then, she starts swaying left and right, struggling to play, and she realizes that she's used to playing on a controller instead of a phone. As she's swaying, she falls on the floor, but to save her from the embarrassment, Yu suggests that they play the game together. However, they end up still sucking, and while Yu is busy looking for references, Kanawa is busy trying to get good at it. Later, in the office, as lunch is approaching, the others are preparing to go out, while Kanawa is pressuring herself to ask Yu to have lunch with her. As she's about to ask him, she sees him completely focused on his work and thinks that the timing is off. Just then, a co-worker asks Kanawa to help her with something, so Kanawa leaves her desk to help her. In that moment, Yu looks for her and finds her standing near another person's desk, so he holds off on asking her for something. Then, their boss calls Kanawa to have a word with him, drifting her further away from her desk. Suddenly, Yu gets invited to lunch by the others, and hearing that, Kanawa realizes she screwed up for missing her window to ask him. While this goes on, her boss is asking her to take a big responsibility, but Kanawa is not listening, as she's too focused on Yu. But then, Yu says that he already brought his own lunch, which eases Kanawa's mind, but the boss is waiting for her answer, and she just accepts it without knowing what she agreed to. She then approaches Yu to invite him to lunch, but realizes she can't invite him, as he already brought his own food. She starts thinking of different ways and timings to do it, but the more she thinks about it, she sees that she either looks creepy or puts pressure on him. Suddenly, Yu pulls out his cup of instant ramen, and when Kanawa notices it, she glares at him, and Yu realizes he messed up, promising to save up for the next month. However, in that moment, Kanawa sees her window of opportunity, and she stands up to tell Yu that she will treat him to lunch, refusing to accept a rejection. She orders him to follow her, saying that as his senpai, it is her duty to make sure he eats good food. They end up at the restaurant Kanawa was in before, and she is ecstatic that she got Yu to eat lunch with her, the same way her old senpai, Kanzaki, took her to lunch. Back then, Kanzaki taught her things as her senior, but she also used to do things for Kanawa that a junior should have been doing, like fetching drinks for the table. Kanawa wants to be that person to Yu, but to her surprise, Yu had already fetched drinks for the table, showing his good etiquette as a junior. They then order some food for the table, but when Kanawa sees that Yu only ordered the cheapest salad, she refuses to stay still and gives him half of her meat for him to eat. He eats it, says it's delicious, and thanks her, which flusters Kanawa. Suddenly, Kanawa asks Yu why he's on a budget, but quickly realizes that it was rude for her to ask him that question. However, Yu answers shamefully that he has been buying plastic model kits, which became his hobby and took his money. He thinks he's a disappointment for liking childish things like that, but Kanawa sternly assures him that there's nothing wrong with having things that he enjoys, which lightens Yu's mood. But she tells him to be mindful of his health while at it. Later, back home, Kanawa continues playing the game from earlier and manages to master it, which gives her a sense of satisfaction. She then goes to find dinner, but because she was playing too much, she forgot to buy herself anything, so she ends up with a cup of instant ramen and a juice, just like before. The next morning, he heads to work, a bit sleepy after playing the whole night, but confident that she can answer any question Yu asks her after a whole night of playing the game. Then, in the office, she fully expects Yu to ask her questions, so she could be like Kanzaku, who helped her a lot in her early years. Just like what Kanzaki did to her, Kanawa tells Yu that if he has anything to ask, he should ask her directly, and Yu thanks her for the offer. But to her surprise, Yu says that he believes that he will be okay himself and thanks her for checking on him. She continues watching over him like a hawk, expecting him to ask her something. But when she checks on him once more, he assures her that everything is okay. Then, Kanawa suspects that she might have created a heavy atmosphere that made you nervous to ask her anything, and regrets not opening up to him the day before, so she decides to invite him to lunch once more. This time, she will show him how great of a senpai she is. But when she returns to the office, she overhears the others inviting you to lunch, and he suggests that they invite Kanawa as well. The others quickly turn it down, saying that Kanawa never accepted their invitation and preferred to eat alone. Kanawa quickly hides as they enter the elevator and realizes she lost her shot to invite him to lunch. So she eats alone on a park bench, acknowledging that Yu is fantastic at his job and wonders if everything she taught him has been useless. Just then, she gets a call for the clients, and in that moment, Yu and the others walk by. Yu sees her on her phone call, passionately talking to the clients, and is in awe of her. That night, while everyone have gone home, Yu continues working and tells Kanawa that he will stay late. She offers him her help, but he assures her that he will be okay. She goes downstairs, prepared to go home herself, but she turns around, refusing to be a senior who lets her junior work late. Back in the office, Kanawa hides from Yu, slowly sneaking in, but he calls her out, and she makes an excuse, saying that she also has more work to do. She sits at her desk, and when she sees the time, she suggests that he should go home, but Yu refuses. He suddenly expresses how her proposal touched him, seeing how much passion can be felt when he read it, so he doesn't want to disappoint her by giving her a half-cooked proposal. When Yu glances at her, Kanawa is tearing up, and she quickly says that her eyes are dry. She praises him for working hard, but scolds him if he gets sick because of it. He then thanks her for inviting him to lunch, considering she hates eating with others, but she quickly assures him that she did it because she wanted to eat with him. She quickly blushes, realizing what she said, but Yu simply thanks him. Then, after finishing, Kanawa finds Yu asleep in his desk, and seeing this chance, she compliments his good work and makes sure he's warm. Then, when he wakes up, he's confused about what happened. Thank you for watching today's recap video. If you enjoyed this recap and want a part 3, comment down below lunch date and hit the like button.